like to call to order the Finance and Investment Committee meeting for the Vallecitos Water District this Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. There's not a whole lot of green here. You know what?
Sage green. Sage green.
The women have the green and the men are just.
I got sage green.
Oh, you got sage green.
I'm holding green gum. As the committee members know, we're in the middle of budget season. So as with these other committee meetings, finance committee meetings that we do with the budget, I'm going to hand this over to our finance team. So let's take it over.
That was quick, huh?
Yeah. All right. So this should be an exciting meeting. We got the whole room full today.
I know. The full room.
Yes. Budget party page. Welcome to the second meeting. Today's going to be a lot of numbers. Like today is like all the materials and supplies and outside services.
And thank you for those emails beforehand.
So we did get 4 packets in email. 2 of them were the materials and supplies budget for water and for sewer, about 20 pages each. That's all the details. That's the single line items, $100 each all the way, and that's what rolls up into the budgets by department and then rolls up into the budget summary. So now we're going to be going over all that today. And before I get started, I want to note that it's important to mention that we haven't really analyzed this yet either. So we got it from all the departments. We started putting it in the budget. Haven't really done our analytics, haven't started reducing anything. It's really just gathering information and sharing it with the committee so you're part of the process.
Great. We'll start reducing, right?
This is just we're just at the input section.
Oh, okay.
Wes, I didn't see where in those files, but was there somewhere where you compared differences?
Yeah, so that's actually what we'll do in the presentation.
Okay.
So you have the information, we'll be referring to those documents, but for the most part, it should all be here. You shouldn't really need to flip pages on them or anything like that. I just wanted to have a chance to get like all the details there. So if you have questions afterwards, feel free to ask or go through it and you can email us whatever you feel to do. We're gonna have it all up on the screen and in little numbers, try to make it as big as we can. The agenda. So first we're just gonna go over the background, what we've done and what, how the budget process is going. And we're going to talk about the operating budget request. That's the focus of today's meeting, which I just mentioned. The next steps of the budget process, and we've got a bonus agenda item today. We get to talk about the possible extension of our auditor's agreement. So completely off topic, but separate item. So the budget calendar so far, as you know, the internal process, we've updated the budget with the audited 2025 numbers. And the departments have prepared their budget requests and submitted them to the finance department. And then on February 17th, we had our first finance committee meeting. We went over the budget calendar and the budget versus actual for the last 5 years. In March, staff actually compiles the departmental budgets into the operating budget, which is where we're at right now. We've completed our fiscal year projections for FY26, fiscal year 2026. And we're working on the personnel payroll estimates. So those are not complete yet. They should be complete by the end of March. That's important to note too, because as we go through this, you may see some payroll numbers. We haven't done any payroll estimates yet, so the numbers you see here are just estimates that were included from last year. So they really mean nothing in this presentation, so we're just going to disregard them today, okay? And then the debt service forecast will be complete by the end of the month as well. Today, March 17th, you can see we're going to review the operating budget requests, and the director of operations is going to be the star of the show. That's this guy over here. And the reason he's the star of the show is because he has most of the departments. So he gets most of the requests. And then the bottom is discussing board request items. So any questions you have or requests, or if you just want to cut through the whole thing, I'm just kidding. All right, so what are we going to focus on today, though? I think this is important to just give you an idea of what we're talking about. This is the total water operating budget for fiscal year 2026. It's $61.2 million. So of that, $45.3 million or 74% is for water purposes. So the remaining 26% of that, 20% is for salaries and benefits. You can see the purple salaries and the orange benefits is 20%. So today, we're focused on the other 6%. So this is the materials and supplies and outside services, the controllable costs of the district, which is only 6% of the total, or $4 million. That's what we're looking at today. There's still a lot of information, a lot of detail, but a very small portion of the budget. All right, so here's the detail you got in the email. This is materials and supplies. You got one for water, one for sewer. This is all the detail, so it has each of the line items. And this is just, we're going to show you how we're going to get from the detail to the budget, the department summary, and then the budget roll-up. So from here, you can see we have each department, so water treatment materials and supplies, for example, and all the items that were requested for materials and supplies for water treatment. From there, we have water treatment outside services, another section. So that's a different account, different roll up. And those are all the requests for outside services for water treatment. Then we have the person who requested it, which is usually the supervisor or manager who's requesting those items. And over to the right, we have whether those items are recurring or non-recurring. You'll notice the majority of the items in those sheets are recurring. They're annual things that we have to look at, reevaluate, and request different amounts. There are some one-offs here and there, but the majority of them are recurring. So from there, just to summarize this down bottom on the left, this is the same thing, but we're going to show you how it gets to the budget department. So here's the budget itself, and here's the department breakdown. So here's the water treatment department, and you can see over here is the $95,000, which is the same detail from up here, and that carries over here to a summary level, materials and supplies. And then same thing with outside services down here. $24,000 carries over to here to $24,000. That's in the department detail of the budget, which then rolls up in the department summaries, which I'll show you next. It's also, I mentioned it before, but this does show cost of labor. Again, today these numbers mean nothing because we haven't started them yet. And then you have power, which we have budgeted for, and the total for the department is $765,000. So it's going to be important to show you where that goes, right? So that's the department detail. And we're going to show you where that $765,000 rolls up next. So here you see the total department summary. So these are all the departments in the water operating expenses. And you can see here is the $765,000 in the draft operating budget for the request today. So it rolls up to this water treatment department over here. And each of the departments has that 4-line detail that you saw before. So for today, we're going to do analytics. So we added a column over here, budget to budget comparison. So we're showing the 27 budget compared to the 26 budget, and we're going to go through the differences between the two requests. And again, we've just started entering this, so that's why everybody's here. So in case we don't know the answer, which probably won't most of the time, we just kind of point at these guys and say, talk about it. All right, so we can see the total requests from this year to last year to this year have increased by $476,000 or 2.99%. That does include estimates for labor, which we haven't done yet, which need to be disregarded, but it's hard to disregard that. So for now, we're just going to say 2.99%, not too bad, even though it includes increases for labor, which haven't been done. But looking at the increases, the major reasons for the increases are transmission distribution increased by $188,000, customer accounts increased by $51,000 in the requests, IT, which this guy over here is going to be talking a lot, increased by $139,000, and G&A or general and administrative increased by $62,000.
What is transmission and distribution?
Transmission distribution, Eric, actually, I can describe it, but I'll let him do it.
Okay, so that's part of
Correct. Yeah, that's it. Anything to do with water mains, water main breaks,
really?
pump stations.
As your warm up right there. All right, so we're going to start with transmission distribution. So $108,000. If we look at the summary, we can see that the reason for the increases are materials and supplies increased by $83,000 and outside repair increased by $118,000. So now we're going to drill into the detail and see what caused these increases. So looking at the detail for the materials and service budget requests, we can see the reason that materials and services increased by $83,000 is we have $60,000 in right-of-way permits, and that's, I believe that's new this year.
It is an increase.
Is an increase? Okay, so do you know, because I have notes on here, so I'm going to catch you in a lie if you're right.
No, it is an increase. I think last year was probably around $15,000 or $20,000, but the city of San Marcos recently, or I should say recently,
Sorry, it wasn't there last year.
Okay.
According to my notes. Sorry.
Well, either way,
I have it zero.
there was an increase from the city of San Marcos, so now the cost is significant.
Yeah. So previously, up until last year, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, the city of San Marcos, their right-of-way permits were $50 a permit, and then they upped them to $13.50. So every right-of-way permit, when we have a main break or service leak, instead of costing $50, is roughly $1,350 now. And that's a flat fee.
Check straight to the city of San Marcos.
Correct.
Permit fee.
So that $60,000 roughly represents about like 44 permits. And so if you average in our main breaks and service leaks, which is probably around 38 total a year, and plus all the gate valves we do, that should just about cover us.
Can we up our fees to them? Little tariff here and there. So that's it. I mean, just out of the blue. I mean, $50 to $13.50.
Correct.
Is that specific towards us, or is that
For everybody.
for everybody? Right of way permits.
Or
Good.
was there, did we get a special rate of $50? Everybody else had a different rate?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
well, let
wasn't
me
sure
find
that-
out.
but it's
Yeah,
2,000.
yeah. Mike wants my vote.
Yeah.
Mr. Snell. All right, I got you. All right.
So the other two, and according to my notes, these are new, so just.
Correct.
So we have, oops, I'm clicking on the wrong buttons here. Valve position indicators of $21,000 and SCADA batteries for PLC and UPS of 10,000.
Correct. So the valve position indicators are a little mechanism that you put on the top of our flow control facilities, and they monitor pressure and flow flowing through our clay valves. And we're adding those in so we can monitor flow via SCADA. And this $21,000 will cover about 15 sites next year. We did, I want to say, about 10 this year. We're just going to continue on until we get them all in there. The SCADA and batteries, that's just necessary maintenance for our SCADA and UPSs. You have to replace those batteries periodically. In the event of a power outage, you don't want the brain of your pump station to not work.
So that's the $83,000 in materials and supplies for transmission distribution. Next, we have the $118,000 increase in outside services, and there's several items here. The first one, this is a new one this year. It says construction and maintenance of $30,000. I'll let Eric kind of dive into that one.
Okay, so this one is new, and it is to cover the costs that we've been seeing for increased like fence repair on our easements and remote facilities. We've had quite a few of them in the past year, and we wanted to start accounting for those. The emergency pavement and concrete, that is an increase of $50,000. And as you have probably seen from our emergency breaks that go to board for approval of the invoices, the paving and restoration is the expensive part of the repair.
Yeah, the other two are increases. This one up $10,000 traffic control services. And then weed abatement's going up $20,000 from 40 to 60.
Correct. Traffic control services specifically because the company that we have been using for many years is going out of business. The owner decided to retire. I don't have the name on hand, but a good reference is we used them last week for traffic control for a couple days, and it was about $4,000. And we had to use a new traffic control company, I think their name was Kovac, for a couple days, and their invoice was $10,000.
Yeah, I just approved the PR on that for.
So, and then the weed abatement, this is specifically to start a more robust weed abatement program around our tanks and our facilities in remote areas to account for fire mitigation.
And lastly, the biggest one, $4,000 for the other SCADA UPS. But I assume this is similar to the other SCADA UPS stuff. So we can, but those are the differences, and that's the $118,000. So next, we're going to talk about customer accounts of $51,000 an increase there.
Quick question on the weed abatement. Do we ever get fined? I mean, if we have weeds growing up, is there fines?
The fire department can find us.
Can they?
Typically, every year they go through and they do site visits to see what sites they need to get done. They have a set that they go and just track by. And if we don't take care of it, they can find us, but we always hop on it right away.
That's what I mean. We work well with the fire department on that. There's no issues there with that in the past.
Yeah,
Historically.
no, we don't, but a couple of HOAs are difficult to deal with because we do our weed abatement on our property, but they want us to do weed abatement outside of our property sometimes, or areas where even though our tanks there, we have a portion that's an easement and it's their responsibility. So we get into arguments with the same HOAs.
The actual easement, so.
Yeah, and on the actual easement, usually once every 2 to 5 years, every time they get a new president or something.
And that's just an outside services guys going by with their sprayers and spraying.
This
Yeah, we
is
don't like them.
brush clearing, tree trimming.
Oh, so this is boots on the ground type
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, so customer accounts, so basically customer service. We can see there's an increase in labor, which we're going to disregard at 24,000, and the remaining difference is $26,000 in outside services or materials and supplies. And that's just due to increase in postage that we pay to InfoSend. They mail out our customer bills, and they do our FedEx hangers, so we do on an annual basis. So we've got an increase that we've seen there. Next is information technology. So looking at this one, this is I don't know if you looked at the detail pages, but the outside services I think is 3 pages long. But there's an increase of $103,000 in outside services. And digging into that, I actually kind of rolled up some rows to summarize it so we can see the highlight items of the major changes. There was a $20,000 increase in communications. We actually have, so that's basically due to increases in new tough book cell plans for mechanical equipment, SCADA lines, iPad upgrades, and additional phones at the district. We had a CSUSM intern that we budgeted for here. Again, since these are new submissions, that actually should be budgeted for in labor. So we're going to move that to labor for the next presentation. So here we have it as like an assumption of outside services, but really it's going to be in the labor department for an intern. Gem Terrace, there's an increase there of approximately $8,000. We have a contractual limit on how much they can increase the amount to our Gem Terrace software, and we're actually negotiating that right now because there may have been an overstatement in what they invoiced us. Maximum support for TRM, that has to do with increased support for actually vacated positions and increased needs in asset management. And then Procore construction management software. This is one that was requested by the engineering department, and basically it's software that streamlines and I'm reading straight from what I was told. Software that streamlines and organizes submittals, RFIs, tracks the contractor's working days, keeps daily inspections, photos, logs, and can archive all this information to save on our network at the end of the project. It will help make contract management of our own projects more efficient and organized.
Yeah,
So
currently it's a manual process. We have an Excel spreadsheet. We just kind of manually file things. It's a bit cumbersome and yeah, staff's looking to actually.
Wait, you're gonna get rid of my Excel spreadsheet that I invented back in my OTI days at 2000? It's
Progress.
It
It was good for its time.
good recovery.
It lasted for 26 years.
2013 loved that.
Being replaced by AI already.
All right.
But,
So
but Director Pennock will know that staff is doing an extensive, they're demoing different softwares, and some are expensive, some are cheap, some local support, some are bigger, and they're really kind of going through a whole process to find what's the most efficient, cost affordable, and flexible for our team. So there's a whole process.
Never doubt.
Yeah.
All right, the last one for IT is the Verizon vehicle telemetry, and this is basically GPS telemetry tracking for vehicles here at the district. That's a new thing for $30,000. It's actually 60 because IT is split between water and sewer. So you're going to see a lot of these again during Jody's presentation.
These are devices in vehicles.
Yeah, and this is to support a CIP project, which I believe was approved last fiscal year, correct? We kind of started the planning phase, and that led us down to this solution for the. Yeah.
And you highlighted these particular ones because that's where the increase was?
Yeah. So these are
The other ones, there was no big increase.
Correct. So we took the detail from last year, detail from this year, looked at the two of them and said, okay, here are the new things, all the things that have been increased that caused, the 2.99%. And one thing that I just remember that's critical to this conversation that I forgot to mention, we talked about it being 6% of the budget or $4 million, and we talked about the increase in water operations being 2.99% or $476,000. It's important to remember that our Prop 318 limits us to 8%, correct? So we're well within our Prop 318 limits at 2.99%. And you're going to see that both in water and sewer. So those are internal controllable costs where we have the cap. Because we've got cap on pass-throughs of 28% and the cap on the internal cost of 8%. So we're well within those limits right now. And it's just preliminary, but we're still. All right, so moving on. Next, we have G&A, general and administrative expenses. So this is basically everybody else, all of building A and the general folks that Jody.
Keep everything running. The folks that keep everything running.
Overhead around here. That's, So looking at G&A, here are all the expenses in G&A, and you can see for the most part, the biggest change is in dues and subscriptions. And this is pretty simple because we really just looked at the Aqua dues and subscriptions, and Aqua's 100% water, and it was being split between water and sewer. So it's $38,000. We just moved the 49% that's in sewer and put it into water where it belongs. So we increased dues and subscription by 22 for that reason. So that's the increase in G&A for the year.
It's just a membership due?
Yeah, we pay an annual due to Aqua of $28,000. We've got several of them right now. If you look
So
here,
I had no idea they were that high.
Yeah, so we've got, if you look at your detail page, and I don't have it here, we see it's $110,000 for dues and subscriptions and just G&A, so you can look
And
at
those
your
are just membership subscriptions to Aqua,
Aqua,
Casa,
Casa, LAFCO.
CSDA.
We have it's the State Water Resources Control Board. This is kind of separate, it's not really a membership. But we're built on the number of meters that we have here at the district connections, and that's $110,000 a year. So we have several of those, and it's all in that detail on the 40 pages. Just look in the G&A section at the end of each one, and you can see the dues and subscriptions in there.
Does this go up annually pretty much? Is it pretty
Yeah. We look at the increases each year and kind of change the budget based on what it's been over a 3 or 5 year average.
Maybe we should look at all those. Do we need to be members at all those different agencies? We're probably, go ahead.
I'm sorry, some of them are optional, like the state.
That was not option.
That's not a subscription.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a legal requirement.
maybe we need to look at some of those and say, I know it's not a huge item, but still.
Well, we do. We've had others where we had like a water reuse organization that we paid and then we got in and out of, and I don't know if we're still paying it now.
Well, it's also relative because a couple years ago, after 2024, when the board asked the GMs to look at the membership of what we can go to, and suddenly we revamped our ordinance, which I think it's like 221 now. 229, I think it used to be 221 or something, but and we reduced the amount. So, but a lot of those subscriptions and dues went up from there.
Oh, so they have like
if you
gold,
look-
silver, bronze
No,
membership.
no, just the membership
Oh, it's just all
fee went
general.
up, yeah, but a few years ago, we had more on there, so,
Mm.
so.
So we have been trimming.
We
Yeah, I just wonder
trimmed.
if we're just sending, okay,
Yeah,
they come up, but we've never been to any of those
yeah.
meetings. It's like. yeah,
Well, some of them we
cut
still don't
ties.
get a lot of use for, some of them were added by different board members, and some of them, like, for example, we had delegates for, but they never meet, or they.
That's exactly,
So,
yeah.
but-
That one, like, the nationwide one that meets in Miami that we should never go to or something.
US Water Lines.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm the delegate.
You are the
for that.
delegate.
I don't know what it is.
That's exactly, it. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm a delegate for, and we're paying dues for
Yeah.
something that we don't even know what they are or what they do for us. and-
Yeah, and we did remove a few items, and we could always look at it in the future. So.
You haven't been to one of those US Water Alliance
I
conferences yet?
never heard of it before I became a delegate.
Well, and just so you know, there aren't that many of them. I'm counting, there's Aqua, LAFCO, Water Education Foundation, Water Research Foundation, and Water Reuse Association. And by far the two largest are Aqua and LAFCO.
Yeah.
Aqua's 38,200, and LAFCO's 28,000. So the rest of them are little, so there's like 6 total.
You know, math goes optional.
No.
Thank you, yeah. And every once in a while, you gotta go through your subscription. You're like, "Look,
I know.
Was it Rocket Money or
Your phone,
whatever they got? For the district.
Okay, so next I'm going to pass it on to Jody for the sewer portion of the presentation.
Okay, so
Thank you.
this slide shows a breakdown of the total 25-26 budgeted wastewater operating expenses of 18.9 million. The total is comprised of projected EU expenses of approximately 5 million, and salary and benefit totals about 8.5 million, and the focus of the next several slides will be this 29% or 5.5 million of this total budget, which includes the Meadow Lark plant and sewer operations.
One quick question, is that the latest projection for US draft budget, or are we?
I think so. I know I updated it, and I think we have the most current numbers here. We have 2 different versions of the budget, this for the presentation and that one, but I think I updated it for this one.
Because EO's numbers are 11.8% up for us, so.
It looks a little low on there, 'cause I think it was going 5.2, so this might be the last year's.
Okay. Right, sorry to distract, it's not focused today.
So for the overall results of the sewer budget so far, the budget to budget comparison on column on the far right shows the total change to the sewer budget is a $540,000 or 3.9% increase.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's where we look at the 8% cap right there. So it's 2.9 for water and 3.9%.
Oh, it's a combination. Okay, so you got 4 and.
Well, it's
No,
actually
just
three,
water.
it's just
Water's
water.
it.
So this is just water. So yeah, in my presentation, this is where you would.
Right, okay, so- but we don't have the combination, add those two together, stay under the 8.
No, the cap's just for the
Just
water.
for water, okay.
We're actually working on the sewer cost and service study, so we'll talk about this one later.
Gotcha, thank you.
And so for internal analysis purposes, the budget to budget change for Encina is not included. This change is primarily, the total change is primarily within the following 6 departments.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you again. 5.468. See what, she was talking about the 26 budget, the 27 budget is 5.4 for ELO. So that has been updated based on their draft budget that they just put out.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the 6 departments that make up the increase are collection and conveyance, lift stations, federal art plant, customer accounts, engineering, and information technology. And in the following slides, we will discuss the details of these increases. A large increase in the collection and conveyance department is due to the proposed increase in chemicals of $135,000, which could be considered uncontrollable costs. And then the lift station projections have increased overall by $7,000, and the increase is primarily within this $76,000 change to outside services. And that increase is primarily due to this $70,000 that was added for the grinder refurbishment costs needed to maintain reliable performance.
That's at San Marcos. That's to replace all 3 cartridge grinders. It's a routine thing that is, they're replaced every 3 years. So for 2 years, they'll be on a budget, or they won't be on a budget.
And we looked at making it capital, but I think based on accounting principles, because it's kind of a routine thing we have to do every 3 years, it won't qualify for a capital asset.
Makes sense.
Okay, and for metal art plant, this department has an overall increase of $105,000, primarily within materials and supplies, chemicals, and power costs. The materials and supplies increases is primarily for equipment maintenance parts and maintenance parts for analyzer equipment.
A quick question. I mean, I know we just did we got rid of the dangerous processing part of that, right?
Chlorine gas.
Chlorine gas, went to hydro.
Sodium.
Yeah. Have we done on the budget side, have we done something saving us money? I know it's definitely safer. Is it saving us money? Have we had enough time to?
It's not saving us money. So chlorine gas is less expensive. The job was primarily a safety concern, not only for our staff, but for the community.
Right.
But sodium heptachloride pencils out a little bit more expensive, both in chemicals and a little bit more expensive in power.
Okay. That's what okay. So is that the result? I mean, is that why we're seeing increase pretty much because
Correct.
of that?
That is the anticipated increase
Because
of
we-
chemicals.
Okay. Safety increased a ton and cost us a little bit to do that. Gotcha. Thank you.
Next slide. On the next slide, I just wanted to mention that if you excluded the chemical costs from 3.9, the 3.9% increase would go down to approximately 2%. And then on the next slide, sewer customer accounts has increased by 53,000. Included in this increase is a projected increase in postage, the info send postage that Wes mentioned earlier.
So it's 22 on water and 22 on sewer.
And then for engineering, the projections have increased by 64,000, and this increase is primarily within outside services. The following outside services areas have increased compared to prior year projections. General engineering, survey services, warranty inspections, grant administrative costs, and survey and easement services.
Yeah, so grants aren't completely free.
I was gonna ask, please explain.
Yeah, so you have to administer grants. Grants have sometimes a 3-year or 5-year administration where you have to show and prove that you did what you said with the money, and that whoever gave you, that's the state or the federal government that gave you the money, they're getting their money's worth. Now we're getting millions of dollars, but we paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees, consulting fees, and labor to get the grant, but it still costs us money to administer the grant every year, whether we do it through a consultant or staff or combination.
So that's not labor, that's just strictly fees.
That's outside
and
services.
outside services.
Yeah, that's consultant probably.
Basically consultant fees.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's the best way to go because these people handle the grants all the time. So they're the ones that know how to get it through and do it quickly
Yeah.
rather than do it internally.
we're saving on staff labor to have a consultant do these, intermittently. In addition, if we chase federal grants, because of the Buy America requirements, typically the cost of the project will increase as well. So there's always kind of do we really chase this? Is it really, get us?
And that's not fine tuned down to cost, that's just a flat fee. It's not like this is how much it was for our consultant fee, this is how much it was for the actual fee to
So if
the
you get,
application fee.
if you get depend on the type of grant, if you got $1 million or $5 million, the consultant fee is gonna be relatively the same, it's level of effort to administer, it's about the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we have good historical data for that.
Yes, money well spent, I guess, yeah.
Well, we're still getting more money
Yeah.
in grant than we're spending by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, and currently we have, as you know, 3.5 million in grants that we're getting. So this is a continued administration of those current grants. So which will roll off hopefully probably this next fiscal year.
That's why, because it has the reoccurring instead of.
Yeah, we've been chasing this for quite a while.
Yep.
2010 maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the expenses aren't the same every year, so now that
They
the real
fluctuate
money
based on
happens
the effort.
after you get the grant.
Gotcha.
And survey costs have increased. We've noticed a lot of survey requests this fiscal year, so that's why those have increased. And warranty inspection, and it's hitting the sewer budget because we have two major sewer projects, the Montiel lift station, which will be wrapping up here probably in June, and the middle of our improvement project. And this will be warranty inspections that we do after those projects have been accepted by the board. We go back afterwards and do a full comprehensive review of the equipment and everything and make sure it's what the contractor is presented to us. So
There's
so those costs get
check
captured
that I
here.
have to review there, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I move on? Okay, we're actually making good time, so I want to just cruise through it if you have questions. We got time.
Ready to arm wrestle. Where's the scissors?
Craig's saving all this comments for the end.
Yeah.
Okay, and for IT, materials and supplies have increased by approximately 40,000 for SCADA parts and supplies. And outside services has increased by 116,000. Similar to what Wes mentioned earlier on the water side, the outside services increase is primarily for the following.
Who's controlling the
And we have details.
Communications, the Maximal software support, North Star Harris support software, construction management software, and the Verizon vehicle telemetry.
So it's all the same thing that I went through.
That's
It's
what you
gonna
just
split
divide
water and
into.
sewer. It's 61 or 51.49 for water sewer.
Those IT guys, you guys are big line item this year.
So you have the changes of each of these individually.
Yeah, so the communications for AT&T, I think it'd be pretty much the same. So it was $20,000 for the increase there. The maximum was $23,000. North Star Harris was about 8,000. Water and Switch was $16,000 total. The Procore is brand new, so that's a full 26.5 there, 28.5 in water. And then the vehicles, that's brand new as well, so that's $60,000 total, 30 in water and sewer. All right, so that's the detail. We're done with all the meat and potatoes. Now we're moving on to the next steps in the budget process, if there are no more questions.
I think the big takeaway is even though there's a projection in labor, when we fine tune the labor, it's gonna be different, but not drastically, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But even with that, we're basically running at 3 and change for sewer, and what was the water number
It
percentage?
was 2.9 for water, 3.9 for sewer.
Okay, yeah, so which is still pretty good, and that's taking into consideration additional operation costs, is taking into consideration inflationary issues on just cost of materials, supplies, and with projected labor, although that'll get fine tuned. So next time you see this, numbers will be a little different. The labor numbers will be fine tuned, the benefit numbers will be prorated accordingly. And we'll also be evaluating any new positions and probably spend a little bit of time explaining those if any of them get past management.
So,
Yeah, so I think we're gonna see the next meeting should be basically CIP requests and labor, preliminary salaries and benefits. So that's when we'll be talking about the preliminary salaries. And I'll go out on a limb in this meeting and say, because we've been pretty short-staffed throughout the whole year. And in the last couple of years, we've seen as a result of that, the budget to actual has been low. Labor meaning we've been under budget. So I would expect this year to be a similar situation. No promises, but that would be my guess for this year. Although we're getting closer to fully staffed now, so going forward, we should be closer on budget to actuals.
And yeah, we went from an average of 10 to 15 to 19 people down to now only 5 people down. So, but that burden hasn't hit all year, obviously. So my expectation is we're gonna be low budget to actual, but next year we're hoping to hit budget to actual much closer. Or whatever this is, synthetic.
Okay, moving on to the budget calendar for April. We will be incorporating, continuing to incorporate items into the operating budget. First review by the CFO will happen, we'll revise and refine the budget. We tentatively have a finance committee meeting scheduled for April 9th, when we will discuss capital budget requests, salary and benefit estimates, and operating budget changes, including water cost estimates and revenue requirements. And then in May, we will work on reserve projections. There will be a first draft proposed budget reviewed by management staff. We'll continue to revise and refine. And we will have 2 full board meetings in May. On May 6th, we'll have a draft budget update and discuss board requested items. And on May 20th will be a first review of the proposed budget. And in June, we will have the draft proposed budget reviewed by management staff, revised and refined. And on June 3rd, we will bring the recommended budget to the full board requesting approval.
And Director Elter brought up that the time of the meeting doesn't have to remain at 3:30. And I know that that'd be a tough time for you to make when Padre season starts. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So looking at that, when we send out the next request, that we can look at changing the time to something that's a little bit more convenient for the record members.
I'm pretty flexible.
9:30 meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of you.
That's what I figured. I looked at that, I'm like, baseball season's in, Padres are home, so 3:30 meeting would be hard for you to make.
Depending on everybody else, though,
Yeah.
but if I need to make some.
For staff, meeting earlier in the day is actually probably better. So I'll work with Kirsten. I'll work with Kirsten on a schedule and we'll get some recommendations out, but we'll try to move it up.
Notice that water cost Mike is.
He's not, he's actually gonna be out for a while. He had a medical issue.
Okay, it brings me to the question of water authority timeline. How does that work?
Yeah, and I don't have.
Yeah, I have that. So Water Authority should have their budget rates, draft rates adopted in summer, in June, July. But that's okay. So we'll have some of that information. So obviously we're gonna have draft numbers in June.
By the time we get it.
Well, we'll have some draft numbers in April, May, but it may not have it in the April meeting, but we should have it in May. And then we'll make those numbers adjustments in the budget for water purchase costs. But the good news is with the 218 adoption and the draft numbers that I've seen, we'll have a full pass-through ability that the board can vote on. And obviously that will come to the board in fall for January, because those rates aren't effective until January. So for budgetary purposes, we should have good draft numbers. But with the new 218 adoption, even if we're off, we have until fall, and the water authority should be done well before that for the board consideration of actual numbers for rates starting January 1st.
The budget will be built based on our best assumptions or best information at the time, but then we'll be doing the rates based on what we get. The actual.
Yeah, but the biggest difference is, because of our restrictions on our previous 218, anything that we estimated that didn't get passed through, if it went above the cap, it'd come out of our reserves. And now, unless they go above our cap, which is not anticipated, even if we have to make an adjustment and the budget's off, our pass-through will cover everything. So,
Cap was pretty high.
28%. Yeah, where'd that number come from?
Better than 30.
That's question.
Is our decel rates, are those staying steady for contractually?
no, desal rates are also going up, maybe not proportionally. So there's been several years where the desal rate came up slower than the actual potable water rate at the water authority. Last year, that wasn't nearly the case. It actually went up more. But there's been 2 years in a row where the water authority rates were maybe not artificially, but negotiated down to get the rates passed through the water authority board. But at some point, that's gonna come back. So we're looking at a double-digit water authority rate increase. I don't know where. Yeah, we're looking at a double-digit.
15, something.
I don't know where it's gonna. The Met portion's like somewhere between 6.5% and 9.5%, depending on which options they take, and if they actually increase the ad valorem, which is still LA's against it, so that may not happen, and that makes a huge difference. And also if they fund pure water SoCal, and then the water authority itself has rate challenges. So, but if the water authority, and you may have heard, the water authority is in a purchase agreement. It's going to go to the board, next board meeting. There's going to be a celebration to offload some of their excess water, and that in itself could have huge effect on rate relief for the water authority. So the water authority, that may bring that rate down below double digits if that becomes fruition, depending on what it hits. So there's a lot in there. So without that, we're well into the double digits. With that, we may be under double digits. But we're giving up 25,000-30,000 acre feet of water for a period of time. I haven't seen the agreement. My understanding is it's going to the board next board meeting for the water authority, and I believe it's Western.
I had heard some of that from the controller over there, but I wasn't sure how much he said. He made it sound kind of hush hush.
Well, it's going to be in the board packet, but the details of it is not, and the hush hush portion is the details. It's not.
Which is common.
Yeah. So.
All right, so that's the end of the budget presentation, but we do have the bonus item today. So next we can go on to the auditor agreement. It should be quick. So this is where I need my notes to get there's a lot of technical sections in here. The district is required to have an annual audit by an independent auditing firm. And that's according to Government Code Section 26909. So we're required from that government code. We have to do it about every 3 to 5 years. We go out for a competitive bid, select a new auditor, and bring them in. And oops, I'm on the wrong computer now. So in 2023, we did a competitive bid process. We had 3 proposals submitted, and of those 3, the highest rated was the Poon Group, and that was due to their overall, or their experience, their references, and their overall proposal. They weren't the lowest cost, but overall they seem to be the highest quality firm. And Davis Fire just happened to be an extension because we already had them for 5 years previously. So rather than extend them beyond the 5, which we could do technically, so we decided to go with the Poon Group, and they just outshined Nigro. They were highly recommended by all the references, and they actually had a savings over the previous 3-year contract with Davis Fire of $2,800. So we saved money in a new contract, so that was good. And then the contract also provides an extension to an option to extend for an additional 2 years, and it's common with auditing firms. You'll see just about every time we sign one, it's 3 years with an option to extend, which is up to the board's discretion. So looking at that. Why should we consider extending, and what are the regulations and restrictions on that? And I know you can't read this, so I'll just point out the important parts for you because I can't even read it from here. But in that section down there, and just to kind of tell you what it is, this is from the GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association. And we use them for a lot of our best practices. They do our Act for Award. They actually do GASB, so they're a pretty important entity. And according to their best practices in audit procurement, it says governmental entities should enter into a multi-year agreement of at least 5 years in duration when obtaining the services of independent auditors. It says at least 5 years. The reason they say 5 years, there are several reasons for it. Auditors come in, it takes them about a year just to go through your stuff brand new. They spend the first year looking at it, learning it, and they think it's a lot of time, but they don't know anything about the organization. They really don't get familiar with the organization for 2 to 3 years, right? And so they really don't provide any benefit. It's a non-value added service completely almost for the first 2 years. After that, they start to learn the organization, and then from there, they can actually dive a little deeper. They can be more critical. They can add value to it. They can actually make recommendations so they know more about the organization. So it benefits both them and us for them to do their job and have experience with us. So 3 years is just kind of too short of a time because they get to the third year, it's the first year where they're going to be any good to us and they leave. So 5 years is usually the recommendation. Plus going out every 3 years it's not that cumbersome, but it's kind of a pain. So 5 years is the recommended duration per the GFOA. Another, some other guidance in looking at this is from the Assembly Bill, and I know we can't read this one either, but it does say up top, Assembly Bill 1345 limits existing audit partners to a maximum of six years. Partner rotation is allowed. So we could do 5 years, potentially 6 with one partner, but if we're to extend the agreement with any of our auditors, we have to switch the partners. So the partner on the engagement has to be someone new, which is what we looked at with Davis for our last time. They were here for 5 years. And when they came back for their proposal, we said, well, we need a new partner. So that's the requirement there. So really no restrictions on this. We're only at 3 years with the Poon Group. So we're looking at going up to 5, which is the GFOA recommendation. And we won't be going beyond the 6.
You said going up to 5, the 2 extensions.
With the extension of 2 years. So we have 2 1-year extensions, but you're going to see the recommendation is going to be just to extend it for the 2 years and bring it up to the 5 years.
So why wouldn't you just go out instead of going out for a 3-year initial contract? Why not just go 5 and have 1-year extension?
Kind of just in case we don't like them.
Okay.
And I hate to say it that way, but you know, you do get some difficult auditors. You get auditors that are, you know, they just different. Like just to be fully transparent, when we first started dealing with the Poon Group, the questions that were asked were posed at us sometimes in a way where I was like, you know, more of a assertive, like you shouldn't be doing it this way kind of thing. And I had to respond with, we're doing it for a reason. Let's be more friendly. You know what I mean? Like it should be more of a cooperative thing, not you telling me what to do. And so sometimes you run into that. You might get a partner that's, you know, a little bit hard-headed, and while you're doing the right thing, you have to. So that gives you sort of a 3-year outlook.
Wes, is our existing contract a 3-year with 2 years of extension also?
Yes.
So match the existing framework of the existing contract.
And that's what we've been doing for, we typically go out 3 with 2 years.
And that was authorized by the board when we originally awarded it.
And you know, if the auditor or if the board prefers to have it every 3 years, it gives them that option as well. So it's, you know, board preference, working with the firm, lots of, you know, reasons like that.
Well, you know, depending on what the committee's recommendation, what the board awards, when we go out for a new audit, we could take a look at a 3 + 3 or 4 + 2 or some other format too. So, but this current contract is a 3 + 3.
So when you say different partners, is that just like a point of contact at the firm and you have to change that point of contact because there's a group of auditors?
And they're actually managing the audit. So that
It's a group of them.
there's a group of people, usually they have staff that come out and do the
Right.
field work
Yeah.
and stuff. And
So
they have
that-
a manager, so there's staff, there's a manager, and then you have the partner who's overseeing and reviewing everything.
So that partner has to change, but you can still have the same staff.
Technically, yes.
Interesting.
There's no requirement for the staff or even the manager on the audit, as far as I know. So the next consideration is the cost. If we're going to extend the contract, we want to take a look at the cost, you know, if we could possibly get a better deal if we did go out. And really there's the 3-year cost with the Poon Group. And to increase the fees over the next 2 years, it's a 3% increase. So it's really a modest increase, and every other firm that submitted a proposal actually had that 3% increase built in anyway. So we don't feel like we get a better deal going out. We probably end up in the same situation. So modest increase, it's more convenient for us and for them. Hopefully we'll get some benefit on them in the extended 2 years. It's a GFOA best practice recommendation. So with all those reasons, staff recommends extending the existing auditor agreement, and we plan to bring it to the April 15th board meeting, and hopefully we have committee support.
And we're gonna, the staff's gonna recommend 2-year extension, so we don't have to come back.
Yeah,
next
so we would have this, so we go through 2 weeks.
year.
26. All right.
Support.
Support here. Everybody around the board?
All right.
Bunch of head nodding.
You got our vote, but our vote doesn't count.
That's right. The support though, it's not the vote, it's the
Yeah,
support.
so-
And that's it. That's the meeting for today.
Well, that wasn't that bad.
Kept it under.
Jody, Wes, you're good. Thank you.
Now hold on to this for tomorrow, so you know what we talked about.
Yes.
See,
Any other action items, any other things?
Saw that calendar?
With that, you need to adjourn. Yeah.